Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ninja Warrior podcast. Tonight we are finally covering the qualifiers. It's the last of the qualifying episodes for season 15.
I love how you said tonight was literally 10 in the morning.
Oh.
I just needed to point that out. I'm sorry.
I am an idiot. Yeah, it's the middle of the fucking morning. It's nighttime now, thank you. So it's been quite a bit since we last recorded an episode of the podcast. The main reason is because we made an attempt at it, I think last week, was it?
Yeah. And then when I went to edit the thing, there was no audio at all. Like, it completely got corrupted.
Yeah, so we had to re-record it, and that kind of discouraged just a little bit. So this time around, to avoid us repeating ourselves, so that way we aren't just recording the same thing again, and plus we are very much behind anyway, because by the time this comes out, we're going to be another 2 episodes behind after this. We're just going to be covering the quick recap format that we did last year for the qualifiers for these next 3 episodes.
Yeah, so basically we're looking at Sasukepedia and the leaderboards and talking about everything we remember and everything to know about the episode and everything we remember. Basically that. If there's anything we missed, well, we just didn't think it was that important enough to mention.
Yeah, and we're going to be going episode by episode on this one. It's generally just how it's going to work this time. This is mostly just so we can quickly film this and catch up. And then next time we can do the 2 semifinals episodes that will likely be out by the time this comes out.
Yeah, the second semifinals episode is airing tomorrow, so I would assume by the time when we would edit this down, it will be way past tomorrow.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get into it, starting with episode 5. Gotta say, these 3 episodes, this tournette, I'm gonna call them, they were probably the best episodes of the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of disappointing because they were getting to it a bit later. But honestly, I think these were the best 3 episodes. I kind of wish they opened with these.
Yeah, and it's not even like the obstacle lineup is the reason. Episode 5 is the same lineup as episode 1's obstacle lineup.
Yeah, and I guess we should talk about the obstacle lineup for all 3 episodes here because they're not all the same, but also there's no new obstacles for us to talk about whatsoever.
Yeah, I do have something to say about this. My theory was that they got a whole bunch of obstacle submissions for this season, and they basically just chopped them in half, so that way half they're going to appear on season 15, and the other half going to appear on season 16. And, Jada Shea, recently I actually got to talk to Jay Lewis about this, Jada Shea, and he told me about the filming schedule and how they filmed season 15 one week and season 16 the next week. So it really does seem to me that they really did just chop the obstacles in half, and, we'll see the rest of those next season, which is a good explanation for why, there aren't all that many new obstacles, and it's just the same course layouts over and over and over again, making the qualifiers more formulaic than they already were to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, at least the qualifiers felt like something back in the earlier seasons. Here, they're just another episode.
Yeah, so for episode 5, we had Pole Vault, Roller Coaster, Domino Effect, The Getaway, Lasso Launch, and the Warp Wall. And I guess we'll quickly go over the obstacle lineup for each episode.
Yeah, obviously, but I think that was a good thing to get out of the way while I had the start.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the actual ones of the episode, because we again don't have obstacles to talk about. Who do you want to start with?
I want to get this one out of the way. That trans ninja who was on, I think, episode 5, maybe episode 6, I don't know.
Oh yeah, right. I don't know what point in the night this was, but we had a trans ninja won the course. You could pop his name on screen because I do not remember it, and I'm too lazy to look it up. But if you're going to bring that up, yeah, it is actually kind of interesting to see that part of the community gets some kind of representation. But I think that's the only thing to note about it.
Yeah, without, like, offending someone.
Yeah. It's kind of, I guess it is kind of difficult to talk about without being kind of rude. But I wish that, but yeah, it's kind of just something to take note of.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up just because I wanted to acknowledge it, but it's not like a super important thing. So I think it was just something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, it works. Now I guess we can move on to the actual leaderboard, starting with the people to complete the course, which includes Sean Bryan, Josiah Papel, and Jonathan Godbout. Anything to know about those ones? I know Sean Bryan had a really cool segment about him trying for his pilot license, and now he can fly a helicopter, which is honestly pretty cool. I think it was an interesting thing to focus on for his segment. And Sean Bryan also had the fastest time of the night at 1:14.
Yeah, and that means he did get a shot at the Mega Wall. He was not able to clear it, but still was the only person to get under the qualifier for it.
Yeah, Josiah Papel had a really, from what I remember, honestly a really boring segment about him learning how to race and whatnot. It's an interest. That's all I can say about it. It's an interest.
Yeah, no, you can't say anything else special about it, though.
No, I can't. He got a time of 1:22, meaning he was not under the Mega Wall timer, but it was really close. And we got Jonathan Godbout, who I believe was the first career of the night, and he had a interesting story about him learning how to drum, him being in a band, as well as him just doing different challenges, so he'd be ready for redemption this season, as he failed very early last season. It was one of the As he failed very early last season, it was one of the bigger shocks of the year.
Yeah, so it's really good to see him go far. And now we can get to some of the shocking fails, which includes Joe Mawaski and Jamie Wan.
Yeah, Joe Mawaski fell on lasso launch, making this the first time he failed in the water in the qualifiers. I know he failed the wall before, the Mega Wall, but he's never failed, actually failed, which was really disappointing. I mean, it's fucking Joe Mawaski. They did this whole thing with hyping him up, saying that, he was gonna get the Mega Wall and whatnot because he had gone it 3 times in a row, ANW 12 to 14. Unfortunately, that streak ended this year, and yeah, I think that's really unfortunate.
It's Joe Mawaski, and it honestly makes me a little bit worried going into this. It honestly makes me a little bit worried going into the semis if Mawaski has the skills to actually win this. I mean, as we see him in Team Ninja, he's good at a racing format, but I'm still a little worried,
Yeah. And the other big shocking fail we had was Jamie Wan, who failed his very first qualifying course since ANW 2.
Yeah, he actually had the longest standing qualifying streak at I think 11. Wasn't it 11 or was it 12?
I think it was 12.
Yeah, 12. But still, that's a lot of buzzes in a row. And Jamie Wan unfortunately failed on the getaway, as remember, he did not get all that much momentum on the wing, he did not get enough momentum on the wing, so he just fell right there. Really disappointing and unfortunate. One of the big ones, and once again, like we said before, one of the bigger shots of the night.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate for Jamie Wan. He still moved on, obviously. Then we had Matt Domingo and David Campbell, 2 really known veterans who went out on lasso launch. So launched in the 5th and 6th positions. To cover the rest of the leaderboard real fast, because I don't see any others notable, we have Abraham Hayek on lasso launch, Austin Balon also on lasso launch, Alex Goodwin also on the getaway, Nate Tagic also on the getaway. In the 12th and 13th positions, we had John Uga and Daniel Nirvana, which means they ran in the one-offs, which we'll cover in just a minute here.
Yeah, moving on to the women's side of things, we had Michelle Wonky. Honestly, one of the most entertaining segments of the night.
Yeah, Michelle Wonky had a segment about having a kid and the fact that her kid was born prematurely and the struggle with that one. I think it was okay enough.
Yeah, I did just say it was the most entertaining segment of the night, and it was a tragic story that they actually paced decently well. I was okay with it,
Yeah. Michelle Wonky unfortunately fell on Domino Effect, but she did move on. Vaughn in the third spot. And then we had in the top two spots, we had Rachel DeGuts, who had a full one shown, and Abby Clark, who was the last one of the night in the fast forward.
Yeah, her one should have been shown way before Rachel was. Even if they didn't have a segment for her, I think hers one deserved to be shown because again, she was the top woman of the night, dude.
Yeah, I think that was worth something. And in the final two positions, we had Amy Halaski and Brittany Durant, both of whom fell on the roller coaster and had their ones before we cut.
Yeah, and they were the ones in the one-offs. Honestly, not much to say except they probably should have been fast-forwarded or did instead of other people who fell there.
Yeah. John Uga and Daniel Novano both had the ones shown in the actual episode. And moving on to the one-offs, it was honestly pretty interesting. Both fell on hopscotch. But John Uga got there first, so he ended up getting the win. And then we had the women's bracket, where we had the two being put, where it was fast forwarded, and Amy immediately fell on home one, meaning Brittany Durant got a very easy finish from then on out.
Yeah, and I guess that's it for episode 5, guys. Any final thoughts?
I don't think so. I mean, we noted everything in 11 minutes. I guess that's another way we'll do it. We just don't have much to say. Yeah, we elaborated on this last time. When I think Crystal titled it, "What Is There to Say Anymore?"
Yeah, but it is exactly correct. Like, there isn't much to go on off of when it comes down to these episodes, so... yeah. I think some stuff are going to be shorter.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think we can now move on to episode 6.
Yeah, the obstacle lineup included pole vault, roller coaster, log runner, kite surfer, lasso launch, and the wall ball. You notice there was only one obstacle change. Oh, sorry, 2.
Yeah, log runner, domino effect will change up for log runner, and then the get ready to change up for kite surfer. It's really annoying that there's only 2 obstacles per lineup. It's per obstacle placement.
It's really annoying, but again, I think we just have to settle it and shut up about it because I think people are probably sick of it at this point because we've been going on about it since last time, and this one's basically the same thing.
Yeah, so let's just move on to the ones for the episode. We had 2 finishers, those being Benjamin Drake, who audience don't even recognize him.
I think he was that dude from Chick-fil-A, remember?
Oh yeah, right. Benjamin Drake, he was the first finisher of the night, and he had this big story about working at Chick-fil-A and how he was a hard-working teen and whatnot because he had other jobs alongside that. But honestly, I ain't got nothing to say aside from that.
Yeah, no. The other finisher of the night was Vance Walker, and it was really good to see him get a comeback.
Yeah, Vance unfortunately did not get under the Mega Wall clearance, but he definitely would have gotten it if that was the case.
Probably, because he crushed it during Season 13. But he just basically had a big story about trying to get his first buzzer since then. And honestly, I would love to see a comeback from Vance Walker, and so far he's gotten that.
Yeah, moving on to the other people on leaderboard, we have some notable veterans including Cal Perez and Kyle Soderman and Carson Williams, all following a lasso launch, and along with that, Abel Gonzalez.
Yeah, honestly, some disappointing ones. I think, again, the first 3 we listed, and Abel Gonzalez, all of them were really disappointing because you'd expect them to make it, especially like Cal Perez, because again, Kyle is one of the competitors that I would have thought to get a buzzer at this point, but he just hasn't.
Didn't he get a buzzer in Season 13?
Actually, you're right, I think.
Yeah, he had a qualifier.
Yeah, okay, I completely forgot about that, but yeah. It's just a little disappointing.
Yeah, Kyle Soderman was a bigger shot. Carson Williams had a really dice Q1, making Q1 as he tripped up on log runner before making it, and this is also Carson's first season since Season 12.
Yeah, so it was good to see him again. And we also had Sebastian Quistma, Jonathan Bange, who also all fell on lasso launch.
Yeah, going back down, we had the Eskimo Ninja Nick Hansen, Sebastian not falling kite surfer.
Yeah, a little bit of a shock there, but he still moved on. And then we had Silas Snyder and Forrest Strick, who also fell on kite surfer.
Yeah, and the final 2 spots. So we had Andrew Collins, who had his one completely cut from the episode, where he fell on kite surfer. You didn't know that Cyrus Nino actually had his one cut too.
Yeah, I didn't actually remember him, so I was actually like going confused there. But yeah.
And then we had Alex Zamano, which at least had his one fast forwarded where he fell on log 1, and those two ran in the one-offs.
Yeah, before we go on to that, we also have the women when to talk about here, and this is that, and the only really notable one here is Barclay Stockett.
Yeah, Barclay fell on last launch, and we also had two rookies as well, Clarissa Morris and Rachel Brown. I don't remember those segments at all, but I know that they topped Barclay in terms of the times. It was kind of unfortunate because Barclay got really close to getting a buzzer this time around as well.
Yeah, Barclay just keeps on doing that. One day, girl, one day you will get your buzzer. You deserve it.
Yep, in the 4th and 5th positions, we had Anna McArthur and Rachel Beth Drake, and those are the people who ran in the one-offs.
Yeah, yeah, at least they were a little more in justifiable positions than falling on Kite Surfer. I can appreciate that a little more. It feels like they were on their spots a little more in that case.
Yeah, definitely. In the men's bracket race, it was fast forwarded where we had Andrew fell on the flying shelf grab, and Alex Zamano ended up killing it, later falling on sideways. So he ended up winning and moving on. And then we had Anna McArthur and Rachel Beth Drake.
Yeah, we had Rachel fall on sideways, and Anna got a buzzer out of it, which was pretty good actually.
Yeah, I guess the memory is a little bit fuzzy, but now we have episode 7, which is an interesting one. It being another one of those episodes where there was a promotion for a movie.
Yeah. Okay. Props to them because they actually picked a good movie to promote.
Yeah, they picked TMNT Mutant Mayhem, a movie that I actually got to see before this, and it's actually pretty good. It's a fun time. But I'm just really glad they picked something that wasn't a bad Illumination movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't pick like the Mario movie or something. I mean, I guess like it was timing.
Yeah, timing, because the Mario movie came out in March and this came out in June.
Yeah, okay, but still, like, if they're gonna pick any movie to promote, at least it is a Ninja Turtles movie, which fits a little bit more with Ninja Warrior. As for Spawn, we also had some specially made animation as well for it. Unlike I think every other one, which I think they used stock footage.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. We had also some special voice lines from the Turtles as well. I don't really mind Mutant Mayhem after I've seen it, so I think I was perfectly okay with this. This also came with them renaming the cubes to calling it Mutant Mayhem, which was obviously, they didn't try for that one.
Yeah, no, there's no reason why it's called that. And I feel like from here on out, we're probably just going to call it the cubes. Because we don't care enough.
Yeah, Mutant Mayhem was basically just decked out with a whole bunch of ooze and green water, which wasn't even green, by the way. It was just green light under the water.
Really?
Yeah, I noticed that at the bottom.
How did I not know? Oh my god.
They really cheaped out that much. Yeah, I guess. I mean, they wanted to go the extra mile, but they didn't feel like going that mile.
He's food cuddling or something. I don't freaking know. You could have green water.
I think she kind of has a point and kind of doesn't, because that could not be healthy for them to jump into.
Still, I don't care. Alright, but anyway, let's move on to this episode's actual ones.
So this episode had the most clears at any episode at 7, and we had some really big veterans this time around, where we had Caleb Bergstrom in the top spot, being the final person to get the Mega Wall this season. Again, a really good comeback for him.
Yeah, he did not do well in season 12 and hasn't been able to compete since, so really good to see him back here and get the top spot on the leaderboard.
We also had Alex Rumor, who also got a chance at the Mega Wall but failed it. And then we had a couple of veterans, including Ethan Barnicki, who just barely missed out on a shot at the Mega Wall.
Yeah, he missed it by just under a second. Kind of unfortunate, but yeah, that's what happened.
Yep, then we had Flip Rodriguez, with a clear time of 1:37. Enzo Di Ferrari Wilson was a clear time of 1:38. Ryan Stratus, which was the big return of the night.
Yeah, Ryan was probably the my favorite one of the night. It was really good to see him back. I loved it.
Yeah, he could have won 53. A really impressive one from Ryan because I know he had a difficult time on the cubes. So yeah, and then we had Brett Sims with the slowest quote of the night, but still good to see him as well.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised Brett Sims got the chance to compete, but I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, then we have the other competitors who are making it onto the leaderboard, including Bob Weiss, Isaiah Lee, and Kyle Solzy, surprisingly enough, all going out on the cubes. And then we had Matt Callan, who made in the 11th spot, failing on kitesurfer. And then we had Daniel Osama and Kevin Tawado, if I am saying that last one right, who ended up going into the one-offs as they got the last 2 spots on the leaderboard, falling on kitesurfer.
Yeah, then we had a couple of veterans filling out the women's. We had Zanika Levette and Ashley Bergstrom.
Yeah, Ashley is actually just Ashley McConneville, as she became Caleb's girlfriend in between seasons, which is interesting.
Yeah, it feels a little quick, but it's good those two found happiness. I can't say anything more on that.
Yeah, they both fell on the cubes. They both fell on the cubes. Then we had Emma Pereira, who I don't remember, but failed on kitesurfer. And then we had the bottom 2 women who both had their ones cut. Those being Dela DePaulo and Espoa Abalca, if I am saying both those right. Who both fell on Grease Lightning and won the one-offs.
Yeah, as we just mentioned, those ones were cut. Ones were cut from the episode. And then we have the one-offs themselves, which were actually... which wouldn't worry much of anything.
Yeah, we had Daniel Olsamore and Kevin Toronto for the men's bracket, where Unsquare was fast-forwarded and Kevin fell in the flying shelf grab, meaning Daniel ended up moving on. And then we had Dela, and Espora in their race for the women, where Espora fell on the Beehive, and Dela ended up completing it and getting the win.
Yeah, and I guess that's it.
Yeah, this goes by so quick when we aren't talking about the episode one by one. Yeah, it makes it a little more of a chill episode. What do you want to know? We do still plan to cover the semis the way they are, the way we usually do it with our analysis. This is just done so we can get an episode out before we were too far behind. But that's the last of the qualifiers. And today and next week, we are going to be covering the semifinals, the very first 2 episodes. The first one was already pretty decent, but obviously that comes with some caveat.
Yeah, decent doesn't mean much in this case, and plus, we have something to talk about with that format next week.
Yeah, but anyway, we see you guys next time for that. I guess I just don't have anything more to say.
Yeah, I guess it is a little unfortunate, but that's basically it for episodes 5 through 7. And yeah.
So we'll see you guys next time for the first 2 episodes of the semifinals. Peace.